Paddling a canoe without rhythm leads to drowning is a Sierra Leonean proverb that aptly describes the partner relationship that has developed between the Wesleyan Mission and the Wesleyan Church of Sierra Leone. To be successful in ministry, it takes partnership. For more than 100 years, Wesleyan missionaries have been working with the people in Sierra Leone, a country of 4 million people located on the west coast of Africa. Much has happened. Today, Sierra Leoneans are doing village evangelism and church planting, teaching, and medical work in the 6 districts of the Wesleyan Church. There are 134 Wesleyan churches with a total membership of over 20,000. There are approximately 15,000 students in our 40 elementary schools and 5 high schools. WCSL has 2 theological training institutions. Kamakwi Wesleyan Hospital and WCSL's 3 clinics reach more than 200,000 people annually.
Today, the word that best describes the mission-church relationship in Sierra Leone is partnership. Partnership is displayed in many ways. Youth in a rope pull, competitors on the volleyball court, canoeing. To propel a canoe straight and swiftly, each partner must be paddling with equal strength. If paddling is out of rhythm, the canoe may capsize. Marriage, perhaps the ultimate example of partnership, demonstrates the need to surrender your rights as an expression of love in order to succeed. The roles of partners may change as years pass, but the partner relationship remains. The partnership philosophy of Wesleyan World Missions is best expressed by this statement.
Wesleyan World Missions exists to exalt Jesus Christ by calling Wesleyans to evangelism, church planting, leadership development, and ministries of compassion for the establishing of a flourishing international church. A flourishing church in Sierra Leone demands mission and church in partnership. Initially, missionaries needed to do everything. We were the evangelists, the builders, the teachers, the doctors and nurses. But as partnership developed and the national church matured, roles changed. Today, Sierra Leoneans are the evangelists, church planters, builders, teachers, and many of the medical workers.
Partnership does not mean the exclusion of one partner. Rather, implicit in partnership is a continuing relationship, an ongoing cooperation, a rhythm. Physical growth can happen automatically, but spiritual growth demands prayer, modeling, teaching, consulting, sharing, and taking time.
Joan and I fit into this partnership as missionaries assigned to help develop a flourishing church. It's been our role to work closely with national church leadership. What a thrill today to see the cadre of well-educated, committed Christian leaders, such as Reverend Santigi Kanu, National Superintendent, Reverend Joseph Conte, Assistant National Superintendent, Mr. Saidu Kanu, National Secretary, Miss Vera Barley, National Director of Women's Ministries. It has meant innumerable board meetings, countless one-on-one sessions, working together in advisory capacities, thousands of hours of travel on rough roads.
In Sierra Leone, the ministry to women began many years ago with annual institutes or retreats and weekly meetings in local churches. Initially, the institutes were planned and out of necessity led by missionaries. Gradually, capable and committed volunteer leaders emerged. In 1986, the national superintendent asked me to work with Yadigba, a retired school teacher, in upgrading the women's work. A national advisory council representing all 6 districts of the church was formed. This council initially met 3 times a year to identify needs, set goals, and formulate plans. After Yadigba's death in 1988, Reverend Jenny Kinde was appointed as the second part-time women's director. Over the years, God has blessed the work of the WCSL Women's Ministries. Currently, over 800 women meet annually in just the 6 institutes and pastors' wives' retreat. A revolving loan project has been instituted to attempt to alleviate the poor economic status of Sierra Leonean women. This has required many workshops and planning sessions to train the women in choosing and following a viable business plan. An educational program has been instituted designed to eliminate the long-standing tradition of female circumcision. Each year, program materials such as the study of Wesleyan women around the world are prepared for the local church women's groups to use in their weekly meetings. Leadership development is provided for district and local leaders. It was an exciting day for me when Miss Vera Barley was appointed as the first full-time National Women's Director. Vera is a well-educated, committed Christian. Pray for Vera in her new role.
Even as Moses challenged the children of Israel to use what was in their hands to build the tabernacle, Reverend Joseph Conte, Bendembu District Superintendent, challenged his district to use what was in their hands to build churches. He had a situation of several organized congregations with no church buildings. One Sunday was set for all churches in the district to raise money. A later date was set for volunteers from several churches to begin construction. Today, 2 new church buildings are almost completed. Reverend Conte stated, "We have seen the mission help us over and over. It is now time for us to do our part for village churches. The larger city churches will still take outside assistance, but we want to do our part where we can." Several of us have had the privilege of working with Santigi D. Kanu, often known as SD. Paul Shea had the first contact with SD while Paul was serving as National Youth Director. Through God's working in SD's life and the modeling influence of Paul, SD was led to take up the post of National Director of Youth, which was at that time supported by Faith Promises. Paul and I served as National Director of Christian Education, which involved the preparation of Sunday school, membership and discipleship materials, and the supervision of chaplains in our secondary schools. As we worked with SD, sharing, consulting, advising, praying, it was obvious that God was challenging him to further service in this field. After 2 years in the States getting his master's in Christian education, SD returned to Sierra Leone as the National Director of Christian Education. Even as Paul and I partnered with SD, he partnered with another Sierra Leonean, Saidu Kanu, who took the post of National Youth Director.
In 1990, SD became National Secretary. 3 years later, Saidu was appointed National Secretary when SD was elected as National Superintendent. And so the rhythmical paddling of the canoe continues.
Partnership does not happen automatically. It takes planning, work, time, and faith in action. Partnership is 2 parts working together, roles ever changing to accomplish the common goal. In this case, God has used Joan and me to help build and strengthen the national church. The Apostle Paul said it well, partnership in the gospel from the first day until now. Pray with us as we determine what our future role is in the partner relationship.
This partnership is not only occurring in Sierra Leone, it extends to those back home. Many times when the rhythm of the partnership canoe was threatened, it was the faithful prayers of many North Americans who prevented drowning. Your prayer support is critical to ensure that the forward development of the church continues and that Satan's intervention is defeated. Partnership would never have been possible had it not been for the consistent financial support of North American Wesleyans. We personally are grateful for the faithful giving of God's people who have made it possible for us to be part of the partnership process in Sierra Leone.
Future partnership demands others who will take up a paddle and learn to work together in further development of the Wesleyan Church. Perhaps God is calling you to serve Him in some overseas capacity. Get into the canoe, grab a paddle, become a partner with us. To be successful in ministry, it takes partnership.